It was on. All right, guys, we are live with another one. We are live with another one on this beautiful, beautiful Monday evening. Hopefully, everybody is having a good week, good start of your week. You know what I mean? It is Monday. Okay, I know how hard it is to wake up, Monday morning, knowing you got a full week ahead of you. And sometimes it's a struggle, but sometimes you're ready to just, you know, take on the week and take on the day. But, guys, if you're new to the channel, like and subscribe. It takes minimal effort to give me the thumbs up, so you might as well do it. Thank you for supporting independent MMA media. Can't do this without you guys. I really can't. All right. Uh, Topic of discussion today, guys, is what is next for Jaquan Buckley, guys? What is next for this man? He takes a huge L against Kamaru Usman. Now, going back to my UFC fight predictions, I did say Kamaru Usman was going to win that fight. I wasn't going to go with the narrative that Jaquan Buckley, had every advantage. I didn't see it that way. I knew right away when this fight was booked, Jaquan Buckley was up for a really, really, really tough fight. Kamaru Usman, former welterweight champion, defended his belt multiple times. Let's not forget, guys, Kamaru Usman went on a 19-fight winning streak, if I'm not mistaken. 19-fight winning streak. Didn't lose in years. Okay, so I knew right away that all those accolades, plus all the experience, all right, was going to be a little too much for Jaquan Buckley. And actually, as it showed, it was a lot more than a lot of people anticipated for Jaquan Buckley, honestly. So what is next for Jaquan Buckley after taking this L? What are potential matchups for Jaquan Buckley? That is what we're going to talk about today. That is the topic of discussion. Now, I just knew, I knew when this fight was booked. Once again, I knew right away that Jaquan Buckley wasn't going to win this fight, man. I just knew it. I looked at this fight, you know what I mean, from the outside looking in, from that type of perspective where you're looking at each fighter and you're looking at the fight stylistically. And I thought stylistically, this is the bad matchup for Jaquan Buckley, very bad. I just looked at both of them and I said, where can Jaquan Buckley win this fight? Is it in the striking area? Can it be there? You know what I mean? I told myself he couldn't. After what I've watched, Kamaru Usman do in the past, you know what I mean? Guys, Kamaru Usman went 3 rounds, 3 hard, tough rounds, okay, with Chimaev. Did you not see what Chimaev just did to Robert Whitaker, the Reaper, in the middleweight division? Couldn't even last a full round with Chimaev. And Kamaru Usman was able to strike with him, was able to wrestle with him. Kamaru Usman was put in bad positions, still never gave up. You never had that feeling where Kamaru Usman was gonna, give up and go out by submission. You never felt like that during the fight. So with all that, I just told myself there's nowhere that Jaquan Buckley can win. There's absolutely nowhere in this fight that Jaquan Buckley can win this fight. In the striking area, he's not going to win that fight. In the wrestling area, I told myself, can Jaquan Buckley out wrestle Kamaru Usman? And I told myself, even with Kamaru Usman, with his bad knees, supposedly, look, Kamaru Usman makes it work. He really does. He makes it work. I didn't see how Kamaru Usman could lose against Jaquan Buckley in the wrestling department, and that's how the fight really went. How you doing, man? How you are doing, Mobex? How are you doing? Hopefully, you're having a good one. And if you're new to the chat, welcome. Like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. It takes minimal effort to give me the thumbs up, so you might as well do it, guys. Okay, thank you for supporting independent MMA media, guys. But going back to the topic, I just told myself Jaquan Buckley has nowhere in this fight where he can win. And that's exactly what happened. So what is next for Jaquan Buckley, guys? What is next for, this up-and-comer who was on a tear? A lot of people believe that, with a win with Kamaru Usman, he's possibly one win away from fighting for the, welterweight strap. So what is next for Jaquan Buckley? look, he's coming off of a tough loss. He really is. He's coming off of a tough loss against Kamaru Usman, but he didn't get significantly damaged. It's not like he suffered, a broken orbital, or like a broken finger, a broken toe. It was just, he did suffer a cut and some bruises, but that's all fine and dandy. You could heal that up within a month. You know what I mean? What about the content? Can you explain it? Well, the content, my channel specifically, if you haven't read the header on my channel, this channel is specifically about mixed martial arts, UFC specifically. I've been watching the UFC since 2003, very knowledgeable when it comes to, the UFC and UFC history. Um, but that's pretty much, what I do on this channel. I give UFC fight predictions. My UFC fight predictions for this weekend's fight actually will be tomorrow on Tuesday. I will be giving my UFC fight predictions for that Jamal Hill and Khalil Rountree fight. So I do give UFC fight predictions. I do go live as well, about 4 to 5 times a week, maybe even more. But yeah, that's about it on here. Kevin Holland rematch. Andrew, I like it. I like it. Why not? I like the Kevin Holland rematch. It'll show Jaquan Buckley, is actually improving. You know what I mean? Because that I believe he was on a 6-fight winning streak, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, that 6-fight win streak for Jaquan Buckley was definitely impressive. So coming back, after a tough loss, fighting a guy like Kevin Holland, a rematch, a fight that, Jaquan Buckley found himself losing, that would be a good match. You know what I mean? I was more thinking, since he's coming off of a tough loss against Kamaru Usman, a fighter that took a 2-year hiatus and then came back. And, in my opinion, I still think Kamaru Usman, I think he needs to fight maybe one more fight and then possibly start talking about, fighting for the welterweight strap. I don't think he deserves to fight for the welterweight strap just yet. You know what I mean? I really don't. There's a lot of people that deserve, to fight for it right now. That division is stacked right now. But with that said, I say this to say that. I say that to say this. I think Jaquan Buckley should fight Carlos Prates. I was thinking about Carlos Prates because Carlos Prates is coming off of a 5-round fight as well against Ian Gary, right? He loses that fight, but he finds himself finding success in the 5th round, very similar to how Jaquan Buckley's fight went, where Jaquan Buckley, he was losing all the fight, and then in the 5th round, finally found some success, denying the takedown from Kamaru Usman. And you really, standing from the outside, you're like, man, Jaquan Buckley can land something in this 5th round. Similar situation happened with the Carlos Prates and Ian Gary fight, where Carlos Prates, he wasn't finding success till the 5th round. In the 5th round, he rocks Ian Gary, almost finishes the fight, right? So I think that, since both men are coming off of similar losses against high-level competition in Ian Gary and Kamaru Usman, I was thinking Jaquan Buckley should fight Carlos Prates. What do you guys think about that? Hi, Keen Buckley. Thank you for your explanation. For sure, man. For sure, anytime. They can still do Ian Gary, but it took the hype out of it. That's a good matchup. Good shout. Yeah, man. I was thinking about that. I was really thinking about that. I've been thinking about it pretty much since the Jaquan Buckley loss against Kamaru Usman. I've been thinking who can be next against Jaquan Buckley, and it could be an entertaining fight where potentially these two men individually could headline it, and they could be the headliners for a UFC fight night. You know what I mean? It doesn't have both men don't have to be on the undercard. This is the type of fight where it's going to be exciting. Both men are going to, bang it out. They're not going to look for the takedown in Carlos Prates and Jaquan Buckley. So I find that to be a very entertaining match. I find that, to be a very like a high level match where you got two guys coming off of losses, but if either guy wins, they're right back in that, contention where they find themselves, if they win that fight, maybe 1 or 2 fights away from fighting for that strap. Prates is cool, but he a one-trick pony. Sun God, I agree with you. I agree with you. He is a one-trick pony, but he is evolving. He's evolving, in that division. Okay. I think as time goes by, you're gonna see Carlos Prates really, evolve And I see Carlos Prates as a real contender. I really do. Even though he took an L against Ian Gary, that's a high level Ian Gary. Ian Gary, even when he loses, Ian Gary still looks good. So, you know what I mean? I think Carlos Prates is going to continue evolving. I think Buckley got as close to a title shot as he's gonna get unless he develops a takedown defense. Hey guys, you guys saw what happened in the fifth round. You guys saw what happened in the fifth round in that Kamaru Usman fight. He made adjustments. It took a while for him to make adjustments, and finally, in the fifth round, he denied Kamaru Usman that wrestling that he wanted to use. You know what I mean? So Jaquan Buckley did make the right adjustments. It just happened too late in the game, right? So for me, I don't think this is the end of Jaquan Buckley. I think he will find success. I think he will work on that wrestling defense. I think he will watch this loss against Kamaru Usman and learn a lot about himself. And moving forward, I think he's going to look better and he's going to be a better fighter. I don't think we've seen the end of Jaquan Buckley, especially at the at the highest level. I think the guy will come back and look very good as well. I got to head to work, but I've dropped a sub, man. I'll keep up with your content. Thank you, Andrew. I really appreciate it, man. I really appreciate your support. I really do. Thank you for being on the comments and spreading that positivity, man. You have a good day at work, man. And stay busy, man. Stay busy. Fifth round against a tired 38-year-old with no knees isn't enough. All right, I hear you. I hear you, Andre. I hear you. I hear you. But you got to remember, even then, a lot of people thought Kamaru Usman was going to lose this fight against Jaquan Buckley. Let's be real. A lot of people thought that, especially with the 2-year hiatus that Kamaru Usman, has been on. Not a lot of people thought Kamaru Usman was going to be able to go in there and dominate him in the fashion that he, dominated Jaquan Buckley. So even with the knee problems and all that, I still think it was I still think it was it was an impressive win for Kamaru Usman, and it still was an impressive adjustment from Jaquan Buckley in that fifth round, even though he lost. It just shows that he's able to make adjustments during the fight. I hope we start seeing more champions like Topuria, multiple tools under the belt. I like JDM, but had Bilal done his usual boring style, he might have won. I agree with you. Sun God, I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly, actually. I agree with you. I watched that fight 3 times now, the Bilal Muhammad and the JEM fight. And I got to be honest with you guys. Like I said in my other videos, I thought that fight could have been, could have gone to anybody. It was that close. So if Bilal Muhammad would have definitely utilized his wrestling, one of those rounds, maybe even 2 of those rounds, I think he would have definitely found himself winning the fight by unanimous decision. I just thought the fight was a lot closer than a lot of people saw it and the judges saw it. But again, it goes to the commentating, man. The commentating these days fucking suck. I'm just being honest, man. The commentating is fucking atrocious. You know what I mean? They need new commentators because I swear to you, I literally I mute what I'm watching when I watch these UFC fights because the commentating is horrible, horrible. Those guys are always trying to paint a narrative. Those guys are always trying to paint a narrative, and I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of it. So I just mute those guys. Nah, JDM didn't let him do his boring style. I hear you. I hear you. I mean, uh, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. JDM had a good game plan. You know what I mean? JDM had a better game plan. But like I said, that fight was a lot closer than how the judges saw it. Forced him into an exciting fight. Yeah, forced him into an exciting fight, very much so. But I still think Bilal Muhammad could have definitely done more. I think even Bilal Muhammad could have held him against the fence and just held him there and done his Greco roaming and just hit him with knees and short elbows, and he could have found success there as well. Peace out. Yeah, man. You have a good one, man. I think Brady the real future. I don't think so. I don't agree with that one. He beats JDM. Yeah, most likely he probably beats him by utilizing his Brazilian jiu-jitsu and his wrestling. He has to stick to that game plan because if he doesn't, he's going to get punched repeatedly in the face by JDM and lose that fight. So possibly, Brady can win that fight, but it's tough, man. That division is stacked, and that division is getting better too. It really is. It really, really is. Guys, like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. It takes minimal effort to give me the thumbs up, so you might as well do it. Don't forget to click that bell notification, guys. It keeps us all connected in this beautiful community that you guys are building, because you guys are building this community. I'm just a part of it, man. I am just a part of it. But yeah, guys, I think that's the fight to make. Jaquan Buckley versus Carlos Prates. You could book that for like September, for a September card, possibly headliner or co-main event, or just put it right there, in the main card. Honestly, the card itself is, if you put those two men, it's going to be exciting. You know what I mean? It's going to be exciting if you put those two guys on a card. Brady looks like he's evolving. Ian is also and has fight IQ, but he's like the white bread version of Izzy. Plays it safe to get the win, not the highlight. Sun God, I agree with you. I agree with everything you're saying right there. You know what I mean? When it comes to Ian Gary, definitely has a high fight IQ. He has a tendency, Ian Gary has a tendency to make fights and fighters look boring. And that's just the honest truth. Look at his past fights. All those fighters are exciting finishers, and then all of a sudden, when they fight Ian Gary, it's a boring fight. And he has that tendency to just make the fight look boring. It's just that's the style, that he comes with. You know what I mean? He kind of shuts down his opponent, and makes the fights not that exciting. He neutralizes them. So very, very, very much so, man. I agree with you. I agree with you. He definitely doesn't look for the finish. He more or less looks to point you out and get the win. Now when it comes to Brady, I think he's good. I think Brady is good. And his last fight showed that he's going to be a problem, especially when it comes to the wrestling game and the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, very high level. So when it comes to Brady, he just got to continue, doing what he's doing. You know what I mean? Do his due diligence, and he'll find success. I mean, he's already finding success, to be honest with you. Damn, I forgot my drink. Jeez. But yeah. And you think Islam beats JDM and holds down 170? Actually, I was just reading an article about Islam Makhachev, and I believe it was his manager that was, just had an interview today, this morning, and apparently he says that Islam only has 3 more fights in him, and then he's going to retire. So, for your second part of your question, I don't think he's going to hold down the 170, the division. I don't think he's going to hold down that division, just because if his manager is talking about retirement, soon, then I don't think he's looking, to defend that belt multiple times. In my opinion, I think he's just looking for good fights where it could implement him in UFC history. So that JDM fight definitely implements him and puts him in UFC history. 2-time, 2-division champion, lightweight and welterweight if he beats JDM. And I do think Islam beats JDM. I just think Islam is going to definitely utilize his full MMA skills, very high level. Great fight IQ. He's going to use his wrestling, great wrestling, and he's going to use his striking as well. And don't forget, Islam was, he's not afraid to strike with anybody. He stood toe to toe with Dustin Poirier. You know what I mean, and held his own. You know what I mean. So I do think Islam wins that fight against JDM. I do think Islam takes that strap and he becomes welterweight champion. But what happens afterwards, I'm not sure. We could see possibly Islam move up to middleweight division if he wants. You know what I mean, to make history and be the 3-time division champion. That'll be crazy, guys. Nuts. But yeah, guys, like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Okay, I will be going live this Saturday. Okay, I will be going live this Saturday for Jamal Hill and Khalil Roundtree fight. I'm most likely going to come in late because this time I came in early for this card on Saturday, and it was a 4-hour live, and I didn't even make it to the main event just because I'm just being honest with you guys. That that main card was it wasn't that good, man. It definitely wasn't entertaining. It definitely wasn't. And then after the Michael Chiesa fight and Court McGree fight, that fight was horrible. Two dead bodies. The UFC needs to stop playing games. And you know what else? Ronaldo Bellato, he needs to be cut by the UFC. Guys playing games, pretending like he's fucking, knocked out, wrestling with the referee, putting the referee in this, in a funny type of circumstances. Fucking dead body. I tell you, yeah, the fights wasn't that entertaining. I tell you that much. But the prelims were entertaining. They really were. So I'm most likely, for this Saturday, I'm most likely gonna go in maybe one fight before the main card. So I'm not that tired, and I'm not doing 4 hours live streams. You know what I mean? Because that was atrocious. That was atrocious. But yeah, guys, like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. It takes minimal effort to give me the thumbs up, so you might as well do it. And thank you for supporting independent MMA media. As it stands right now, guys, my record for my UFC fight predictions for 2025, I am 126 wins and 86 losses, guys. I repeat, I'm 126 wins and 86 losses. I think that's a terrific record, way above 500. So we're going to keep getting these dubs. Like I said, tomorrow I will be going live. I will be going live tomorrow and give you my UFC fight predictions for Jamal Hill and Khalil Roundtree for that whole card for that. So stay tuned for that one. But yeah, guys, if I had to put a button around, this around this main topic right here, I think Kamaru Usman needs to fight one more time, and then potentially, fight for gold if he wants to. It's just Kamaru Usman in that post-fight interview, he's talking about fighting in 2026. It's like, what are you talking about? You barely got injured. Like, the inactivity these days is fucking amazing. Like, what is it right now? It's June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. You want to fight like in February, like 9 to 10 months from now, almost a year from now, you want to fight? What is going on, bro? I don't fucking understand that. And after hearing that from Kamaru Usman, I'm like, okay, so let's not have Kamaru Usman fight for the title, because if he fights for the title, here goes another guy where he's just gonna hold up a division, just like John Jones is doing. So let's make sure that Kamaru Usman's next matchup is a tough matchup. You know what I mean? Where we find Kamaru Usman losing that fight. Okay, you want to take a 10-month hiatus after being away for 2 years, being away for 2 years doing your pound for pound podcast with Henry Cejudo, and then come back after 2 years and then win that fight and then take a 10-month hiatus and then come back from that 10-month hiatus and fight for gold? You're out of your mind, Kamaru Usman. You're fucking out of your mind. Okay, it's not happening. It is not happening. So to me, Kamaru Usman needs to fight one more time before he's deserving of fighting for any gold. Any gold. Who's going to be his next matchup for Kamaru Usman? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure, especially with the 10 months hiatus that he wants to take. I don't know who falls in that calendar month. I don't know who's gonna be that inactive. I just don't. So when it comes to Kamaru Usman, no, you're not fighting for the welterweight strap. Definitely not. And when it comes to Jaquan Buckley, I think they need to book Carlos Prates. Carlos Prates versus Jaquan Buckley would be a banger. That fight, nobody's going to go for a takedown. It's not going to be a lay and pray type of fight. Both men are going to stand in the pocket, stand right there in the void, and they're going to try to knock each other out. That's an entertaining fight. I think the fans would be excited for that fight. I think Buckley himself and Carlos Prates will be excited to book that fight. Hopefully the UFC, hopefully the UFC can hopefully the UFC can book this, man, because they've been doing a good job of booking fights, but sometimes these fights fall apart. You know. But anyways, guys, I am out of here. All right, I am out of here. I'm most likely gonna get live. I'm gonna be live later on tonight. Maybe around noon. I'm most likely go live once again. But you guys have a good one. Bless. Until then, I'll see you next time. Peace. One love.